Ouais. Mwanapumbase, Mwana, Mwana Velela, Kembo, Natata nZambi ya Mazulu, Kimfumo Kyakuisa, Yenge Keno, Away Nusiemi, Kyambote, Luvuvamu, Yala, Bayeti, Kembo, hallelujah. Family, once again, we're back on this videos. I really wasn't planning on doing another one for a while because I'm getting people a lot of meat. Let me close this out. But this is something that needs to be said. Yaya did a video. I'm going to elaborate on it. I know some of the things that he said actually is known in the historical community. Many of the things that he talked about in his video, this is one of the reasons why I walked away from teaching, because as I began to see the connection, because see, the one thing that many people don't know, I'll get into this in a minute, what you learn in the history of the world and history of America and history, okay, actually will tell on biblical history. When you go to the seminaries and you go and you just learn about the different historical figures in Christianity and Islam and all those other things, you go and you learn normal history of the world, and you will find times where that history will tell on itself about the fact that they're lying about things in the historical history of the Bible. Okay, so you know many of the things that he's talking about is very true, because you'll see the contradictions of what they have taught in the past. Like when Rome talked about the Crusades, you'll go and learn regular history, and it's all off. It's all wrong. You know, the regular history, the historians will go back and do their diligence, and they'll expose what Rome said about the Crusades. Okay, so even with the thing that's going on with Napoleon and the things that they talk about, what you see from a biblical side, and what they teach in the history of Christianity and Catholicism, is different than what you'll see when they talk about it in normal history. Okay, and this is significant because what you're going to learn is that this is how they tell the truth on one side and they fabricate it on another. Okay, so anyway, I want to first give honor to Tata nZambi. All praise glory to the Most High Yakongo, to the Benakongo Isaiah, to the Manan Velela, to the Moyo Mpeve Nakongo, to the all of the 24 elders, the descendants of Isolele, the righteous, all the way down to Abana, Yasaka, Yakubi, down to Nsemi, Semaya Kongo, and to Abana Yakongo. All praises to the Most High. This is going to be, and I want to say, first of all, welcome to all the Bantus scattered across the earth, to all the non-Bantus that were this cause, the Benakongo, and all of those who are with us. We welcome you. Luvuvamu, Yala, which is the number 4, which is the Judah, Judah, Lutala Judah. Okay, number 4, Yala. Okay, that's why we say that. We always recognize him as Yala when you're from Judah. Yeah, there's a lot of things people have not learned. We used to say Yala a lot. That was brought back to Mayamona in honor of the tribe of Judah, Yaoundé. All right, so this is going to be entitled Ascribe all sin to Azazel. Okay, so let me get into this. Now, for those of you who may or may not be aware of this, Hollywood, the word Hollywood itself is all satanic. Hollywood, you can even do the research. I watched a video on this guy talking about it, is the wood that was used by witches to put in their wand. Hollywood. Okay. So the concept is that this whole illusion is to make you entertained and scripted. Okay. And you have people now that get so much into these celebrities, all the things that they do, they don't even know that they still follow the guidelines of Shakespeare, where you have androgyny that was there. They have androgyny in Hollywood. So what you may be looking at can be the opposite. Men can be women, women can be men. And of course, normally if they're the real ones, you will find that they are also part of the sodomy effect too, which is one of the things that they talk about, because in Hollywood, even in the world today, it's all about control. This is what you're going to understand. Everything starts with the concept of control, power. Who has it, who doesn't? Okay. And this is what Yaya was going into, is that we live in a society of those ancients. Many of them cannot die in the way that you do. We have immortals, even on both sides, the Most High side and on their side, that they really don't want to be in that position to face the Most High, so they cheat time. And I'll talk about that. But what they do, okay, is honor the fallen. Okay, so we're going to go back to the book of Enoch once again, because this is the year 22. It's significant for us. They hate us as the 22, but they love their 22. Okay, and so I'll get into that. This is going to be an interesting year that comes. It's already starting off that way. But anyway, this is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me count them out. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now, one of these stars is assigned to Azazel. I'm assuming, because when I've ever seen them put the thing in, it goes like, it rotates this way. So I'm assuming it's probably this one, because then it rotates, it finishes, and it goes boom, it stops right here. This is the first. I could be wrong on that. So if anybody knows better than I do, that's fine. But all these represent the fallen angels that came to Mount Hermon in the days of Noah, and the pre-flood era. Okay. So this year is dedicated to the one that was ascribed all sin. For those that you don't know who I'm talking about, Azazel was the angel that allegedly taught human beings everything that they needed not to know about. He took many of the secrets of heaven and brought it to men, but they did evil with it. This is like what happened today. This has been repeated in itself actually many times over history. When they set up the United States, this never stopped. Many of the technological advances that you're now seeing, as they even put it into the movies for you, they said, oh, Megatron is reverse engineered. Everything in the modern age is reversed off of Megatron. Megatron is the epitome of Azazel. Okay, he is the so when they say that him and Optimus Prime are brothers, okay, Optimus Prime is actually supposed to be the antithesis of representing would be the right Messiah, okay, which is really Nimrod. Shh. Okay, sorry about the noise. So these are type of things that they really play off this brother. Everything, what the world doesn't understand is everything is about brotherly feuds, family feud. It's a family feud. Okay. Isolele right now, our family is in a feud right now with ourselves, even as we speak. So now, when it comes down to what's going on today, is the world is beginning to recognize we're not all the same family. There's actually one family that's more dominant than the rest. Okay. Okay, she's doing something about saints and catacombs. Yeah, martyrs. What you have to understand is, in this day and age, if you so choose, okay, is where the world of illusion is starting to crumble. The world of illusion is starting to crumble. And so as their world crumbles, it must end with the one who was ascribed all sin. Okay, it all comes down to him and what the things that he did. Now he goes by another name of Gadriel, but that was the one he used to deceive Eve, which is another technically fallen angel, because all of the fallen angels represent through him. Okay, so no matter who they are, they're all Lucifer. They got different, don't call them all Satan because they don't get cast out that way. But technically, the word Shaitani or Shatani literally means accuser, but is again ascribed to the evil that he does. The Dubal, devil, he's a Dubal, a double of Dubal or devil. Dubal comes from the opposite. So he mirror is the name of a demon. So he is the antithesis. He is the antiverse of the Most High's creation, the so-called universe. He's the antiverse. Okay. So what you're dealing with today, and I thank my brother who shared this with me, we're in the antiverse now that is meant to mirror the true universe, which is the firmament, the water that divides the waters, that represents the heavens above and the heavens below. You're actually in heavens below because the earth form starts the first heaven. Okay, that's why we're technically Malekis. Okay, now on this earth, spiritual beings dwell one together. Heaven and hell are not separated as they try to put it in the movies. They are actually overlapping. Okay, because on the earth plane, this is why Isaiah said the kingdom is here and all around you. So that's mean he's telling you Shaitani and the Father's kingdom are intertwined with one another on the earth plane, and this is the battlefield for your soul. Okay, so in the times of Noah, they masqueraded just like they're masquerading now as the good guys, but they were more obvious. You could actually talk, they were more visible. Now they've got into hiding because of the fact that they cannot let people know that when it goes into the mystery or mystery Babylon is the hidden side of it, because of the concept of a Messiah figure that came. Okay. So when the Most High ascribed all sin to Azazel, it is because he is the one that brought humanity to destruction after Hanak brought the world to peace. So when you see them talk about aliens or whatever you want to call them, okay, the understanding is when they receive the knowledge, this is the repeat of the days of Noka. But because Bantus are around, because Bantus would know what they're looking at, they must hide themselves. Okay. The other people may not know who they are because they've always deceived them over the years. But us, we would recognize the spirit if we so see the true understanding of who they are. Excuse me. So they come in a different fashion each time so that you don't recognize the game. All right, so we're coming down to where we're talking about the one that was ascribed all sin. All right, so let's go to this here. This is the book of Hanak. All right. It's called Rebels. Now I'm going to share with you something why this is called Rebels Among the Watchers. The Umbasi, the Maleki Kongo are actually watchers. Okay. All of the Malekis were watchers. The problem is you had those who rebelled and left their posts because they wanted to interact with us with the enticement of the one that fell. Okay. And it came to pass when the sons of Benonmuntu, sons of men, had increased, that in those days there were born to them fair and beautiful daughters. Now, this concept of fair is misrepresented by white people. Okay, very much so. Reason being is, even in the days of Noka, even now, okay, you had Black people that were light complected, that were considered fair skin. Okay, all fair means is you have less melanin than others, but you can also be a relatively light Black man. So for example, and this is going to ruin the total illusion that they teach about Esau being the white man only, because he was not white. Okay, just to give you an idea, if you look at my complexion, I am Esau's complexion. Okay, I've actually seen Jewish people, and I saw a guy, he and I have a similar face, but he is a lot whiter than me. That is the side of Esau that I can recognize. Okay, but I also have Yakubi, which is the side I choose to go to. Okay, but because Esau was also Black, light skinned like me, they want to make that connection to, oh, well, we were the fair skinned people at that time as well, when they talk about the great deceiver. And so, like I said, they're deceived by their own spirits about who they are. That's the issue. They're believing what they're being told, just like we believe what we're being told. And the concept is they're not having that discernment of those who actually don't know, that there are those who know they're talking to the fallen angels, and there are those that don't know. In secret, the highest level rabbis know that their God is Lucifer. They know this, but they're not going to tell you because they're running a masquerade. Okay, they call him, and it goes back to the goat god, or Azazel. So I'm trying to remember where it talks about the scapegoat here real quick. So when at one point in time, when the priests were to have a day of atonement, this is where you talk about the day of atonement. What they would do is they would offer a sacrifice to Tata nZambi in the means of a scapegoat. One of the goats would be sacrificed and the other one would be sent into the wilderness. So let's talk about that. So when we go to Leviticus 16:8-10, so here it is. I'll even give you what they're showing me as I'm looking at it. The scapegoat, or Hebrew, they called it, now they call it, of course, in the Yiddish, Sa'ir la Azazel. Okay. So this is the sacrifice, or the goat for Azazel, Sa'ir. So if we go to the Kikongo, let's see if we can find it. By the way, if you actually look at when it talks about fallen, Wazinyo ya Nkaka ya Zole. So they call it Nkaka, or this is Maleki, Landaka Mpi Tubakande Yandi Mebwa. So when you say that, when we're going to say that Babylon is fallen, Yandi Mebwa. Okay. So now let's go to the word goat. Translated into Kikongo. Now they'll say Unkobo. Unkobo. I'm going to say that Sa'ir. Sa'ir. Let's see if we can go to the. Let's see if I can pull up the tool. Let me see if this is connected to it. I'm not sure. So when we go to Sa'ir, you know, the breakdown, let's see if I can pull it up here. Sorry, messing up. So we have the paramount. Let's see. What am I looking for? My brain is fried right now. Not sure what it's the Strong's concordance. Let's go into it. When we look at the word Sa'ir, see if that brings it up. All right, so now I know in the Kikongo we would probably pronounce it Sai. This is where you get, so now you can know, it says for the same as seer. Now you have a place called Sears, so it'd be a place of the goat. Okay. Sai. And I know you've heard people, Sai. This is actually a word I've actually heard in Lingala and Kikongo, Sai. Okay. Let's see if it tells me Sai. If I go to back, because I know in Korbo, let's switch it back and see if it says Sai. See, I hate when they do that. Sai. And I know I've heard this word even in the Caribbean, Sai. I don't know why it sounds familiar. But you can tell that there's a connection there. So we go to the Strong's Concordance. It's funny how they won't let me. Let's see if they give me Hasair. You know, because I've heard even in the Japanese, I heard Mr. Miyagi say, come inside. He don't say side, he said, come inside. Okay. And I know in Okinawa, there's Moontus or Bantus connected to that place. And I've heard that word sai before. And if somebody can do it better than me, I welcome it. But you know, trying to get him to break it down further. But what happened is, so you go back to what it talks about in Leviticus. Let's go to Leviticus. Let's do this one. When we go to Leviticus, and you go to 8 to 10. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, the one lot of Tata nZambi, and the other lot for the scapegoat. For the scapegoat. Who is that? Okay. So in the teachings that were taken from us, from those who were converted, okay, this is a practice that even today that they still ascribe this. However, that particular entity is now in control of their organization. And you know this as the so-called Baphomet, which is the goat god, okay? So now, but the goat in which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Most High to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. So on the Day of Atonement that we did, that of course, you know, they took it, we would then, we would take 2 goats. One would be the offering for the Most High to atone for the sins of Isolele, and the other would be for the sins to leave, okay, us. Now, of course, the scapegoat now, according to the Bantu or Isolele, is really Kuswakongo. That's why he says all sin now, he became sin. So he becomes the one that atones for you. Okay. However, the accuser scapegoat is the one that comes against us now, where he has been ascribed all sin. Okay. So how do we make the connection? For the Bana Kongo, Kuswa Kongo, receiving him as the Unkulukulu, or as the Untina Aba Untinu, he intercedes on our behalf with the Father. Okay? That he atones for us. So really, when you do the Day of Atonement with the goats, you are rejecting Kuswakon. Because you're saying that you don't acknowledge and see many people who are now, many of the people who are doing in the so-called Hebrew Israelites that are following many of these law, statutes, and commandments are actually rejecting Yeshaya by performing any type of these rituals or any similarities to it. Okay, you have rejected whom you call Yeshaya, because he is now the scapegoat. He is the lamb the one that atones for all zonos. So through the concept of being taught Judaism by those who are teaching the Hebrew Israelites our history, they have made you practice Judaism. Because Yeshaya, or you call him Yeshaya, he fulfills the law. He said, this law, he says, I didn't do away with it. So the Day of Atonement is Yeshaya. Kuswa Kongo. You know, Yeshaya Kongo. The Day of Atonement in spirit belongs to him now. He is your intercessor to the Father. So now with Judaism, as they now use the scapegoats because they refuse to accept Kuswa Kongo, whom the world wants to call Jesus now, or they call him Yeshua, because we call him Yeshaya, they call him Yeshua. Okay, where that comes from is when we knew him as Kuswa, we said Yeshua, and they say Yeshua. Okay, Yeshua is their Yiddish iteration of Yuswa, Yuswe, Yeswe. We say Yuswe, Kuswa, anointed. Yeshua is anointed in the Yiddish. Okay, so you're speaking Yiddish when you say Yahusha or Yeshua, which is not the language of the Most High. He doesn't speak Yiddish. This is what was made up with those who became affiliated with the Asiatic and Germanic languages of the Hittites, connection of the Khazars and the Khazarians, okay, their language. Okay, so now when we talk about what's going on in the world today, like Yaya was talking about, there's families that are well aware of this connection. They know that they are from the bloodline of the serpent, and the serpent is connected to Azazel. Okay, because of what happened in the past with the blood, with the pacts of the fallen angels that took place in the days of old and returned after. Where the book of Genesis says it was in those days they created, that it happened before and happened after, referring to when they took these wives. Okay, so after the flood, you had other people make pacts with these fallen angels and they took wives again. Okay, so in the affiliation with this, you have what was called the goat god. Okay, when we go to in deeper with this, I'll show you why. And so with this particular being, it is an asexual being. It has both male and female characteristics, because the fallen angels are said to be able to take on both characteristics, male and female, if they so choose. Since Satan can be the harlot, he can also be the man. Okay, and this is what they get this from. Now, when it comes to the connection, let's go where it says, and it came to pass when the sons of Muntu had increased, that in those days there were born to them fair and beautiful daughters. And the Maliki, the nZambi, the sons of Zulu, saw them and desired them. Now, I know you've had other people teach on this, okay, and I know they've done a very good job. I'm going to go with I'm going to go in a direction that's really going to help you to break it down what this year is going to be about, because these are the ones that that are represented by the stars. I talked about that in the Paramount picture. Okay, so, and they said, come, let us choose for ourselves wives from the children of men, and let us begot for ourselves children. Now, this is the biggest deception ever. This is where you're going to get your aliens from. This is where you're going to get your Anunnaki, your Nephilim, your Anunnaki hybrids, all of this stuff comes from this. But when they come to you in different forms, they'll say, oh, we even created this, we created that. Why? Because they're trying to make themselves Congo. They want you to believe that they are Congo. And this is why when I say the Anunnaki are black, come from Adama, because Adama and Awa, Eve were black. Okay, and their offspring, Cain, okay, I know Cain was actually my complexion or a little bit darker. He wasn't white, okay? But the bleaching and removal of melanin took place then as it does now, which was what was called the curse of leprosy. Leprosy is the removal of the melanin. This is why they want to hide that, okay? So come let us to ourselves wife, and Semyaza, who was their leader, okay? So you have Azazel, so this is really Shaitani in this name, said to them, I fear that you may not wish this deed to be done, and that I alone will pay for this great sin. And they answered him and said, let us all swear an oath. Now, this is where you get all your oaths from. Every time an oath, you oath in as a secret society member, you oath in and whatever you do, raise your hand, you swear on the Bible, all these things you oath. Okay, when you swear allegiance to the flag, that's an oath. This is where you get all your oaths from. This is how it starts. And this is why Kuswa said, do not give a false oath. Either you say yes, yes, or no, no. Because he's referring to this. He's talking about this oath right here. This is a false oath. And he says, do not swear by anything in the heaven or swear by anything. And see, now you live in a world where they have reflipped it, but they hide it. You're not supposed to be oathing in on anything. Now, do you make a covenant with Tata nZambi and Pungo Tulendo? Of course you do. Okay. But the covenant is not a blood covenant. Okay. That's the difference. The covenant is your connection that you have a promise with him to fulfill through your bloodline. There's a difference. You cannot, see, this is why what the Gentiles don't understand, or many of the heathen don't understand, is you cannot enter into covenants with Tata nZambi or Akongo or God, okay, unless you come through those who are already under the covenant. That is what Kuswa Kongo was saying. Salvation is of the Yaounde, Isolele, the Jews, the ones who are who have the covenant with the Most High. That's why in order to get to the Zulu, the kingdom, the Pemba Kalumba, you must come through a member of the 12 tribes who has received the Mwanda Velila, the Mwanda Nsemi. If they have not received the Mwanda Velila, the Mwanda Nsemi, they have not fulfilled the law. So this is why it was important in Christianity to tell people when you receive Jesus Christ, you receive the Holy Spirit, okay? When the reality is only he can confirm that. But you have the devil who masquerades as a false spirit. And the way you will know you are in the Mwanda of the Most High, of the real creator and not the imposter, is you will know the names. You will learn the names. You will have acknowledgement of the names. You will know who the original people are. You will have knowledge of things that other people won't know. You will no longer operate in the milk, but in the meat of the spirit. See, one of the things that they have done to people is they keep teaching you milk. You don't operate in the meat. They do, but so that for control purposes, that this is how it works, okay? So when you don't operate in the meat, you cannot operate in the spirit. So the point is, The preachers tap dance around the milk meats all day long. Even in your seminaries, even in your teachings, when you go to seminary school, they will not teach you the meat unless you become initiated. But that means you cannot teach the meat to the other people. They won't let you do that. Try. Believe you me, you will be okay. When you try to teach the meat of the scriptures to the people who aren't supposed to have it, this is why we have a problem. This is one of the reasons why our awakening is starting to shatter, because even in the Hebrew Israelites, they didn't give you but a little bit more meat than what Christianity already had. That's all they did. Excuse me a second. Okay, they basically made you Christians with new names. Because when you go precept on precept, line upon line, you're doing it off of a esoteric book that was modified by secret societies, and they know that. Excuse me, sorry. That's why when people who join Freemasonry say, "Oh, I'm from Christianity, or I'm going to go back into Christianity," they're like, "Fine," because we're both. Do what you want. Religions are secret societies. That's what they don't understand. The Jesuits, the Muslims, the Judaism, all of that is one family under this entity here. Okay. So now, and bind one another with curses. Okay. So not to alter this plan, but to carry out this plan effectively. So what they're telling you is, and even if you go to people who become initiated, they always tell you, you cannot reveal whatever you hear here or whatever you do here. You cannot reveal this stuff onto anyone because you're going to be cursed. So if you break this oath, you have curses upon you. So then they put you in a state of fear, okay, because curses can carry out into people's deaths. As you know, when the Most High curses people, you go to Deuteronomy, it can be unto your own death. Okay. So what they're saying here is that if any one of us fallen angels, one of us watchers, were to go against this oath, then we are accursed. So then they all swore together that all are bound one another with curses to it. This is why when you go to Egypt or you go to any other of these ancient civilizations, you'll see where they put, if anyone should open this, or they're going to be a curse or whatever, because this comes from that mindset. They swore secret oaths with these fallen angels that not to reveal secrets in their time to their people, and that anybody would access it. That's why when they would bury even the Pharaoh's guards would be buried alive with him. It was an oath that they were going to watch him in the underworld. Okay, yeah, a lot of wicked stuff, man. But they are, and it says, and they were in all 200. They came down on Ardis. So there's more than 200 fallen angels, but at that time, 200 of them came among these 22 to make this oath. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of fallen angels. There's a lot of fallen angels out there, because there's two kinds of fallen angels. I told you, there's the fallen angels from the Watchers, and there's the fallen angels of Isolele, the Malikis who were in the flesh. Okay, this is when they say you might be entertaining angels unaware. Is you're talking about the children of Isolele, and this is why the earth is in curses, because there are those who are cursing Yakubi and the land and the stuff around. Like, see, the biggest lie that has ever been told to anybody about, I don't care, you can debunk any weather person. The creator himself never needed rain and snow. Never. There's even in the scriptures that he talks about and the secrets of Hanak, where he saw the rain and the snow and the hail all prepared for those. That is when the hail, the rain, and the snow is upon those that he has put his wrath out continually, but they dress it up nice. Oh, we needed the moisture. Oh, no, the Most High watered the earth with a mist. No rain, no snow, no hail. It was like a mist that came down and watered the earth. They had never really seen rain until the flood came. This is the lie. Y'all, people need to wake up. He did bring judgments like that in the past. Okay, he did have those things, but he said he reserved it for our time. Go read the book of Job. Go read the Apocalypse of Abana. Okay, even in this Hanak, people don't understand tornadoes, lightning, thunder, all this stuff was never needed. But it was part of the curses of those who walk in wickedness. That's why you get floods. People don't understand that. I fear that you may wish this deed to be done and alone will pay for this great sin, okay? And then it said, and what it said, they were all in 200 and they came down to Ardis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon. Right here, this is Ardis that they're showing you in the thing. This is the summit Ardis, okay? So now it says here, these are the names of their leaders. And these are the ones that are out now. They were put in they were put in a prison. Okay. Now they're out. This is why they're dedicating this all to him, because he can't come out. Simyaza, Rakiba, Ramiel. Now see the L. I'm gonna teach you something. This L is Lucifer. The Most High's angels never ended with L. That's why we call him Makaya nZambi, Makaya, Gabaya. Okay, they had different names because the L portion was see here, this, you see Ezekiel, this is the same. All they did in the Bible was change that letter to a K and you have the prophet. His name was never Ezekiel, it was Yesekaya. So they're showing you that you have the watcher in the book of Ezekiel's name to show you that Yesekaya was actually a Maleki Kongo in the flesh. Okay. Y'all don't get it. We're immortals, like the queen said. We are immortals. We keep going. When you have this Mwanda Velela. Remember, so to give you the idea, when they made the movie Ghost Rider, that is a mockery of the fall of the children of Isolele. We harness the power of that Maleki that they put in that movie that is able to do all those things that he did. But because we were brought down to the land, we were deceived by the fallen angels, we become prisoners in his, our power becomes imprisoned to him. So that movie represents us, the Bena Congo, the Obantu Benduela, who are the Maleki Congo, whose power has been brought down and imprisoned with the fallen ones, with our oath. When what's his name? When that's my mom called. When they brought the curse, when they brought us down to curses in our kingdom. All right. So Barakiel, Azazel, Amaros, Ananel, Zakiel, Samsiel. This is really Samael. Okay. All right. Satiel, Sata, Turiel, Yomiel, Azazel. So we got so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 so far. All right. These are the leaders of the 200 angels and all the others with them. Now there's more than 200 because he took a third of heaven with him. But these are the top 200, okay? And they took wives for themselves and everyone else for himself, each one. And they began to go into them and were promiscuous with them. And they taught them charms and showed them the cutting of roots and trees. Now, this is where you get witchcraft beginning to form, because there's ways to do, but see, this is the problem. There's ways to do it the right way, and there's ways to do it the wrong way. What are you doing? All right. Sorry. So this is where you get the spell casting, the witchcraft, the harlot stuff, and they would have you doing different seances and incantations, okay, to be able to manipulate the nature against the Most High. But see, our people are against this. We would be able to control that aspect. When you have a dominion over the creation, we control all of this. This is what they don't want you to know. And they showed them cutting roots, and they became pregnant and bore large giants. So if you ever seen the Anunnaki, okay, the ones that made us like grasshoppers, this is what they're talking about. Huge. Some of them were Nephilim, some of them, you know. All right, if you go to the Book of the Watchers, you can actually hear more about this. But it says their height was 3 cubits. Now, to get everything in perspective, these are the gods of the so-called Gentiles in the book, or the heathen, the ones you're not supposed to know the ways of in the book of Yilmilia, the ones that are doing witchcraft, sorcery, okay? So now, these devoured all the toil of men, unto men were unable to save them, and giants turned against them in order to devour men. So this is where we started to become used, especially the children of Cain, because Seth was protected. His lineage was righteous, okay? But Cain's lineage and others were those who were against the Most High. They were not allowed to, they were not protected against this until the mixing, excuse me, of what took place with Yalid, what you call Jared, Yaled, when he got tricked, okay? And they began to sin against birds and against animals. Now, what does this mean? They did inappropriate things with these animals, which is where you get the concept of bestiality today. But they also mixed them. They did this through what you now call the tablet of destiny that was given to them by Shaitani, in order that they should, see, it says here, and against reptiles and against fish, and devoured one another's flesh and drank the blood of it from it. Now, this is where you always talk about a blood sacrifice. This is something that the Most High does not really need. Tata nZambi, and when I was reading The Legend of the Jews, which is a book you should really read, because it talks about, it makes a lot of the stuff clear about Babylon and stuff. To even fake out Nimrod, they sent back the arrows that they shot to heaven with blood on it to make it look like this. But the Malakis don't have blood. They're spirit. There's no flesh in heaven. The Most High is not flesh, he is spirit. That's why it was all a delusion upon them. So the ignorance and the stupidity, okay, you can't kill spirit. This is what Shaitani used to make you think you can do. You cannot kill spirit. Okay, that's the lie. So the earth complained about the lawless ones. Now, you have some others that were not mentioned, as Marok, as Samrak is another. There's a few more that aren't mentioned here, but then it says, and Azazel taught men to make swords, daggers. Now, this is the men he taught, and the specifically was Tubal-Cain. Okay, because Tubal-Cain was a master craftsman of metal and working, and he built cities. Okay, and daggers and shields and breastplates, and he showed them the things for these. So when you look at this concept being passed down through the ancient world, okay, you have the things that was done to ancient Egypt, the metallurgy, the alchemy stuff there, the taking, making the swords, the like everyone, you don't understand, everyone who's a blacksmith is under the seal of Tubal-Cain, because that's what he was. He had the anvil, he was making stuff, they were working, anybody that works with metallurgy, okay, is usually affiliated with that. Now, does that mean we were? No, because the knowledge that was given to them was also given to us, but we could manipulate it differently than they could because of the power we had. So the way the Most High taught us to do it is different than the way they were taught. Okay, and they had bracelets and ornaments and the art of making up the eyes. This is your makeup, okay? This is your ornaments, putting on jewelry. You go to ancient Babylon and ancient Egypt, Kamata, they always had the little, and you go to like India and stuff, okay? This is where it comes from. They put all the dot things in their eyes, and this is where it comes from, okay? They don't know this because these gods, they lie, okay? Now, this is all happening after Hanok had brought peace. They had some before, there was some sinning going on before, but a lot of this stuff was going on when the peace was being broken among the people. Okay, now, and it says the precious stones, the beauty of the eyelids. That doesn't mean the Most High, this is why Isaiah said, Kuswa Kongo said, do not be worldly when it comes to possessions. Of course, King Solomon, his wealth was obtained through his wisdom, but he was never supposed to use it as a means of focus to attain these things. We were to use these things as a means, okay, of righteousness, not to use it unrighteously. But Isaiah even showed us that these things will be stolen. So you don't really need it. So technically, the Most High would provide for you when your needs would come, so that you don't have to worry about brickets and all these other stuff, taking what belongs, was not yours, because it gets provided as it is needed. And this is what was going on in even the Kingdom of Congo. It was provided as needed. So that's why when we weren't picking up the gold off the ground, and they come see what's wrong with you. You see all this gold sitting here? It was not of value because that wasn't the value. But because they were cursed at the time to go of the seed of Esau and them, were cursed to go, just like what happened with the seed of Cain before, they always were poor because they had to go look for things in order to obtain wealth. Whereas with us and our people, the witness was with us, okay? And the world was changed. Now, let's go back. Let's go to ancient Rome. What was the real staple of Rome? Was their ability to build and use these metals and ornaments and allow themselves to be considered a power based off of architecture. And remember the architecture that they received came from their interactions with the Ben Congo, the Benamuntu. Their language, even what they laugh and want to call ancient Latin, is Kikongo. Okay, Congololo is ancient Latin, and they know it, but they don't tell you that. Okay, even the Greek words are affiliated with Bantu languages. That's why they could conquer us. They had to know how to speak a connection to our language to conquer us. Even the Babylonians knew the Kikongo. Because why? Nimrod spoke Kikongo. Nimrod spoke Kikongo. So his spirit could teach it to those who worship him in spirit in order to do what they needed to do. Remember, the earth was one language. What language was that? Before the Tower of Babel, all of the 70 different dialects are based off of Kikongo. Okay. Now, of course, there was a language that was spoken among the hybrids with their fathers. That's when they say, "Oh, nobody speaks the language of the primes." Okay, the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, these jokers came with a language that was coded. Okay. So there was great impiety and much fornication, and they went astray, and all of their ways became corrupt. This is exactly what transpired after Babylon. The ways became corrupt. Now, of course, in the Most High's fulfillment of his promise, he gave an isolation to this, the Isolele, to where we were supposed to fix this part that was starting to spread itself on the earth, but we did not. We actually went the way of the heathen several times, still going the way of the heathen. They just don't know it. Okay. So now, when we look at what happened, Amazarach taught all those who cast spells and cut roots. So this is the god of the witches and warlocks right here. All these people spell casting right here. Another one, because they have gods. You got another one, Amoros, the release of the spell. So when you see Hollywood spell casting, this is one of the 22 on the Paramount. When you go spelling words, this is who you're dealing with here. When you go and you do astrology and astronomers, this is who you're dealing with here. Barakiel is the fallen angel of that. So NASA, this is their god. That's why you gotta be in the Blood Oath Secret Society, people, to do this stuff, people. Cocobiel, portents. What is that? Opening portals, going from one place to the other, stargates. Another god of NASA, Tamiel, astrology. So when you're an astronomer or astrology, these gods are messing with your head. False. Astrodel taught the path of the moon. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Don't the moon spin around us, right? See, I'm trying to tell y'all. They don't want you to know about this book That's why they took it out, because then they can't teach you the lies. Because these are the same things they taught in ancient Babylon that our ancestors picked on even in Egypt. And they taught wrong teachings. So when you embrace this, the Most High is like, you're in a strong delusion. You shall be in the strong delusion if you believe the lie of what these jokers are teaching you. So as the cry went out, just like the cry is going up right now. Okay, right. This is how they knew the time was up, because we started complaining. We finally realized, hey! This is really Saraya. That's why you get the name. And Uriah and Saraya Congo. They put the L on the end. So this is Micaiah, Gabaya, Saraya, and Uriah. Take the L off and put the YAH on the end. Micaiah, Gabaya, Saraya, and Uriah. Congos, Maliki Congos. Okay, take the L off. Now, before people say Gabriel, they accept it because they know this is what happened. But take the ELs off and you got the Most High's people, Malikis. Okay? And they saw the mass blood that was being shed in the earth and all of the iniquity that was being done on the earth. And it said, "Want to let the devastated earth cry out with the sound of their cries up to the gate of heaven." Okay? Well, here's the deal. Here's how they kept you from crying out this time, or so they tried to do, is by teaching the world something that wasn't true, what you call the matrix, to where it made them look like you did it when they were still influencing it. Okay? To make it look like it was good when really it was bad. They taught opposites to keep you from calling up to the Most High so that he don't come down here and take them pieces. Hence the reason why it was necessary when the Bantus went into captivity to make us unaware of our identity, because when the time would come, we would cry out like we did in Kemet. And when we cry out, hey, Tata nZambi, Makaya, hey! No, 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 no. You idiots, you let them cry out. Problem. Because they know we cry out, but the nZambi's like, okay, it's time, it's go time. But he gave them a period. He gave them 100 years to get it right. They didn't get it right. Ooh. It's go time. They know what they have created will now come to destruction, but they want to make sure that we go with it. And they said, Untino, let me say, and they said to the Lord of Lords, Untino about Untino, Nkosi Yamakosi, King of Kings. Your glorious throne endure for all the generations of the world, and blessed be praised. You have everything, and power over everything is yours. So who do you pray to? Jesus. You can talk to Yesiah. He'll answer you. But who do you pray to and communicate the most? Yambe, Zambe, Congo. Even if you go to the archives of the Vatican, they know his name is Yambe, Zambe, Congo. They hate that name. But they mock it all the time. Your glorious throne endure for all generations, the world be praised. Okay, so now when you want to go to all of the societies and the things that have been learned by humanity in time, these are who have been teaching. This is your Area 51. This is your Pentagon. This is all of this stuff that they're doing. This secret society, this is all of your underground facilities and making all kind of different things. What you're going to see is nasty. ugly, they already mixing creatures as they speak. The dinosaurs are when they sinned against the reptiles, the birds. That's why they go and say, oh, this dinosaur had feathers. They must be a descendant of the bird. Them birds must have come from them. Lie. They are birds mixed with a reptile. Period. When you see the brachiosaur, that's the feet of the elephant and the body of the snake. And they told you this in Jurassic Park. There's no such thing as a dinosaur, but an abomination of the Most High's creation. Period. And the reason why they got turned to stone is because of what Methuselah did. They're going to get into that. And the giant creatures that they made and all of this stuff. They did it before, they did it again, and it's going to happen, and they're doing it now. Pain, and it's over. And everything is uncovered and open in front of you, and you see everything, and there is nothing that can be hidden from you. Okay, now, let me elaborate on this. This is what happens when you minimize Tata nZambi umpungu tulendo. Nothing can be hidden from him. So guess what that means? He saw us today doing this, me sitting in my chair talking to you now, back when he put Adama in the garden. Let me say it again. All of this you see here today, United States, Europe, Malik, fallen angels doing this garbage. He already saw it and had the plan ready then. So don't think we're losing anything here. He knows who he's going to raise up from the time the foundation was laid. Hello? And we got people right now worried about if this is bad or good. Let me tell you something. The Most High knows he did not create religions. It comes from the word Ra's Legion. Okay? He created a belief system that he put in place with Adama and Awa. And Isaiah never changed that. Because he was there in the garden as the tree of life that Abana was supposed to feed off of. Adama was supposed to be feeding off of. He was in the beginning. Wow. Interesting name, they're powerful. Okay? This is significant because people, we have a tendency to think that as we're falling apart, or that the truth won't come out, or that there's so many things that have been manipulated that the lies will continue. No. The Most High saw our Yaya and everybody else in this awakening long time ago. He knows who the agents are. He said, all you got to do is ask, and I will show you. I've seen them since I put the foundation here. So they're not hiding anything from me. What are you talking about? I already knew the plan I was going to put into motion. When they would do this, I had already known I was going to do that. When they would do this, I would already know I would have to do that. Shaitani can't beat him in chess because the chess game was laid out before Shaitani fell from the kingdom. Hello? Even when he was a cherub, the Most High knew the game he was going to be playing with him. Y'all got to know, we're going to win this no matter what. We know, people don't believe it. They walk in darkness thinking they have the lights because they have been blinded by these Malakis. That's why they can put them, they represent them like I told you, right here, and you don't even know it. This is their gods in Hollywood. This is their gods in Washington, D.C. This is their gods in England. This is the gods of the politicians who work in Germany, Russia. Okay, these are the ones that became your so-called God in the Bible, your Lord. They're one, the so-called Jesus Christ, who really didn't exist, because Simon the sorcerer was all of these spirits. Where he was a different entity than what they're teaching you. You cannot have a world the way it is today at all and claim to be walking with the Most High in spirit and in truth, when there's supposedly billions of you doing this. Really? Then how come you let people are not afraid of you to talk about names of demons? Half of you don't even know you say demon name every day. But they got you laughing, or they got you laughing about the S word and the F word, and they're all acronyms. That's the joke, people. The F word is an acronym. The S word is an acronym. A bitch is a female dog. And they laughing at you over this. An ass is a donkey. But when you say A-M-Y, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. When you say D-I-A-N-A, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. When you say S-E-T, or you say, no, I'm sorry, M-A-T, okay, or you say P-A-T-H, those are demons. Those are fallen, those are gods that were worshipped above the Most High. Laughing at you. They even put the obelisk in there. Oh, it's the George Washington Monument. Laughing. We'll call it the George Washington Monument. Man, come on. They played you. And now they've dedicated that they know the time is up for them. Now they must erase or put you or stick you in it the other way. They were masqueraded, now they're gonna masquerade. They're done with the masquerade. It done end. Masquerade over. Now they're gonna they go and execute Order 66, just like they're telling you. Flip it on them now. We're going to the other side. We're going to the dark side 100%. And we're bringing Big Boy on board online. Who is Big Boy? Drop Big Boy. They did it in the resurrection of Optimus Prime. Nimrod. That's how they put it in the movie. He was dead. Now he's coming back. Hey, come on. But Megatron played a duality role. He was Kuswa Kongo mixed with whatever you want to say. Technically, he's like Esau. Frozen Robert and those jokers represent spiritual demonic entities on the thing. And I played with them. Trust me, I had the toys. I didn't know. I had one I bought a few years ago, Starscream, Demon. A few years ago, you know. So then it says, and now everything before concerned, but saying we ought to do this, okay? So Enoch presents us, okay? So now we're going to go down. These are just the notes. Am I almost done? Yeah, 1 second. Sorry. And when the Most High and Great and Holy One spoke in sin, man, Arshalala, this is Arsiala. I don't know how it's hard to, this name cannot be right. I don't know if they only Kikongo version, but Arsiala Yur. the son of Lamech, and said to him, Arshalalur, Arshalalur. There's got to be a different way to say this in Kikongo. I know that's not right. Say to him in my name, hide yourself, and reveal to him the end which is coming, because the whole earth will be destroyed. A deluge is about to come, and all the earth. Okay, and further, Tata nZambi said to Raphael, okay, bind Azazel by his hand and feet and throw him into the darkness and split open the desert which is in Dudael and throw him there. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what they're calling the South Pole. Or the North Pole, one of those where you can't go. They won't let you fly over it. And throw him there, and throw him jagged and sharp stones, and cover him with darkness, and let him stay forever, and cover his face so that he might not see the light, and so that on the great day of judgment he may be hurled into the fire. So his spirit can now walk into you, but he can't come out. He can manipulate you through spirit, but he can't no longer walk. See, these people were walking among us. They still do in the flesh. When they did the movie Gods in Egypt, Gods of Egypt, yeah, that's what they saw. Big old tall. They did the same thing in the book of Hannah when the Mosai brought the battle of Yaraku. They were big giants. Looked like grasshopper. Whoa. Blow the trumpet. Boom. All of them did. So people think he was killing. They weren't just killing no human beings. They were hybrids. So there's the problem here. Now, with the 22 coming, everybody that is lining up with this Maleki, they even made a movie about him called The Fallen with Denzel in them. All of the people lining up with this Maleki, you going into the fire. So this is why they say, we fooled you. Now comes the time when those who are supposed to be running this earth will return to their position, and those who were never supposed to be here, you're going with us. This is the way it's going to play out now with the false, the so-called, where you want the image of the Most High Son, which is not even right. Okay, the whole teachings that they did, which they doctored it through one who betrayed our own. Okay, they turn everything backwards, and they have an oath that was established to anybody that you tell the truth about what we're doing here, you are going to be killed, or you're going to have a curse upon you. So this is why they'll never break the oath. And if they don't even tell you, if you say something, I don't know what you're talking about. They can't break the oath. The ignorant part about it is why Isaiah said, fear not the one who can kill the flesh, but can kill the flesh and the spirit. So you're fearing Azazel, and Azazel himself has to go into the fire. With all of the oaths and all of these angels they pull an oath with, they got to go goodbye. And you acting like they're more powerful than Congo. What is this? No way. They must obey Congo. They in prison. They're in a prison. Even when they're walking around again, they're still in a prison. They're going back into the fire. Jeez. That is why he's talking about what Hitler was trying to do. They had him backwards. The people who wanted this stuff done is going to shock you who they were. They were trying to kill Mayamona because they saw that some of us had become reconnected to the Pemba Kalunga. That many of us could manipulate the things as before, the Ungunza power, And that is a threat to the Kabbalists, because when you can overrule their magic, you can see everything they're doing. You can see into the Pentagon. You can see into Area 51. You can see anywhere they are. They can't hide anything from you. You can see what the president is signing on his table desk right now with the Angunza power. That's the Holy Spirit, people. The Holy Spirit will take you places where they'll never find you. You'll be cloaked, just like they did in the Harry Potter movies. Nobody can see you walking around. What's going on? Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Wow. Look what they're planning here. There's nothing they could do to you when you're in this mode. This is why you become a liability with the Holy Spirit. So they have to teach you that you have it when you really don't, by using the witchcraft of Hollywood. Hollywood is what they're doing, spirit cooking. Yeah. So then he said, for us, I shall restore the earth so that not all of the sons of men shall be destroyed because of the knowledge. So this is actually not even talking about the flood at this time. This is talking about the future, the remnant. Because look what he says, because there was only 8 people on the ark, people. He's saying that for the knowledge they have taught us, because Noah was still aware of the knowledge in his family, and the children after him became aware of this knowledge. He's saying, I shall restore the earth so that not all the sons of Muntu shall be destroyed because of the knowledge which the watchers have made known and taught to their sons. So what they're teaching you now in school is this, modified to hide themselves. Millions and billions of years ago, they don't want you to know. There is no such thing as evolution. They created all of these ugly things, unclean. Hey, man. This is why they wanted to, this is exactly what Admiral Byrd was talking about. This is exactly what Snowden was talking about. This is exactly what they still call Assange was talking about. Any one of these whistleblowers, which they claim to be whistleblowers, but what they're actually telling you is we lied to you, because they occasionally have to give you the truth, but they don't tell you the full lie, the full truth. So they use that person as the that person. So whenever they bring knowledge out to you, that's like something like Admiral Byrd or what's his name, Snowden or Assange or whatever, they're called a scapegoat. You're going to be the one that is going to be the sacrifice for us to put it out there. You're the scapegoat on this one, buddy. You're going to be the scapegoat on. They do this all the time. You're going to be the Baphomet on this one. You're going to be Azazel on this one. They do that. And then you come out and like, oh, wait a minute, they did. Because the knowledge has to come out, people. And this now, everybody going to find out. They have now going to make the scapegoats out of all of the people that's been lying to you, because they now have to tell the truth. What they're going to still do, they're going to still control things. They're going to find out, the Most High is going to force them. That's why he says, I'm going to make them worship at your feet. So now he's going to force the issue. And the whole earth has been ruined by the teaching of the works of Azazel. Against him all sin. So then you had a person that was walking in the flesh in Mesopotamia called the sin. He was called the king of sin. This is where you get sin to see from. Sin destroyer. And Tata nZambi said to Gabriel, proceed against Gabriel, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the sons of the fornicators and the destroyers of the sons of the fornicator, son of watchers from amongst men. And this is your Star Wars. And your so-called, whatever you want to call, astral. They blew up a ship. They blew up one of the ships. It makes one of the chariots got blown up. It goes into pieces. Oh, here comes what do you call them thing? Asteroids, a shower. This is a shower. This is a. They fight in a war, people. They hide it. And they will petition you, and see, it says, proceed and send them out and send them against one another and let them destroy themselves. So here's what they're doing today. All of the world leaders are helping them fight this war against one another. And they providing the blood sacrifices for the worship of the knowledge that they receive. But anybody who's one of us in this time, who becomes aware of who they are, is a threat. Because we can tell you, this is all a lie. This is not true. But you have been conditioned to believe it because you're under the Hollywood spell casting. I told you who they are. And they will petition you, but the petitions will gain nothing in respect of them. And this is something that even happened to me already. I don't know if it's happened to others, that these come to you, tell the Most High to bring us back. No, it ain't happening. Tata nZambi's not bringing not one of the, and they get upset with that. They don't like it. Believe that. They really don't like when you tell them no. And that's the thing. They want revenge and they seek it to their people and all this stuff. And this is what's happening today. They want the revenge against the nZambi, against the Muntu. They want to cut us off from being a nation. And our world and our leaders, and especially in Africa, are puppets to this. You are still following. Let me explain something to you. You leaders in Africa are still following the same gods that control the pharaohs. Period. You are following the same gods that controlled the Cain seed. What is wrong with you? You don't even know what you worship. You want to go with Azazel. You want to, if you're cool with going to Azazel into the fire, you talk about, oh yeah, I'm really going to go. Do you even know what that means? Why you think they're trying to trick you? To stop you from, they're trying to stop us from being a nation for a reason. They don't want to die. They don't want to go in that fire. Are you kidding me? They're trying to do everything possible. Because when Congo rises again, they go in the fire. They know they're going in the fire. And this is a place they do not want to be. Azazel knows, man, if the kingdom of Congo rises again on this earth, I go in the fire. But they don't have a choice now. The time is up. And they're going to say, well, then that means we're bringing as many of you with us. You don't understand. It's a game they've been playing on you. All the technology, all the stuff they've been doing, they done tricked you. Oh yeah, you made this. Oh, even the word of law goes back to Greece and to Egypt and to Babylon. All of your judges and prosecutor, attorney, they mimicking the kingdom when the Most High put you in a prison. And of course, he mocked his get kicked out in the second Superman. Okay. So what the Most High has told you is he put and okay, and then he put and the Tata nZambi saw the Micaiah, Michaeli, and this is the prince Kosana. Go inform Senyaza. Kosana, Prince Michael, Michaeli. Go inform Senyaza and the others with him who have associated with the women to corrupt themselves in all uncleanness. When all their sons kill each other, and when they see the destruction of their loved one, bind them for 70 generations. And that is what they came out 2 years ago. The end of the 70 generations was 2 years ago. I believe when I calculated it backwards. 2 or 3 years, they just came out. You remember, you want to know how you know? They did that whole thing with the opening the tunnel with the whole dance. When they did all of that, the dancing, they were coming out. Every leader was there. They were in hiding. They even the helicopters in the tunnel. They came out. Welcome back. Freaking lie. Forgive me, Tata. Lie, deceivers. Okay. So now the Most High is saying, they came back to try to find a way to defeat us. So everything they could come up with, they trying to come up with, they're using their bodies to spread viruses, because viruses come from dis-ease. They cause you dis-ease, disease. Go to the Testament of Solomon. They tell you this. This is why Uzziah showed you the way you cure the disease, as we have shown with the ritual, is to remove the spirit that's causing it. They showed you the trick in Green Mile. That is what he did. He went to the woman. He did he was a Muntu representing us in the movie. Goes to the woman, does what he needs to do. He injustice the sickness, and later on, Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies, comes out of his mouth. Because it was Beelzebub who was causing the cancer. This is how ignorant you are to science and what they're talking about. Oh, we can't cure this. Oh, we don't have a cure for that. Yes, they do, because it's the demons. That's what Kuswa Kongo was doing. Cast out. Go fast and pray. Here, I'm going to do this, the demon will leave. I'm going to do that, the demon will leave. This is why in the churches, they don't show you how to cast out demons properly. Be gone, Satan. They're not all named Satan. They laugh. They look at you. I'm not called Satan. They have different names. They show you this in the Testament. Yes, you can say Shetani was a part of it. Yes, you can do healing like that way. But the reality is, the true healing lies in what we have been taught and the things that we know. When it comes to the Maliki Raphael, he knows what to do. They afraid of that archangel. He's an archangel. They ain't going to mess with him. Goodbye. Shoo. He's out. They out. When you take and you use the earth is what has the power of the Most High in it. The salt, the herbs, whatever, okay? And that Maliki comes and he does his thing, whew, the demon is gone. Peace out, homies. You're cured. But they do fight. They still try to fight sometimes. But when they see the spirit of the Most High in you, now they got a big problem. When you 100% tip top spiritual, like Kuswa Kongo, Isaiah, I'm going to send us into the pigs. Bye. Okay? They're not going to mess with that. When you roll in like Isaiah, like Tata, like the Abafundi, when you roll in like that, but see, right now they get all buffed up because it's their time. Now it's not. Now their time is like, oh, snap. The power is now going to restore to the level it needs to be to get rid of this. That's why they can't do nothing to you. Period. Until the time of the time, yes, they're going to try to test you. Yes, they're going to keep trying to come at us. But we must remember this. Their time is up. And those that follow them, so are theirs. Those that fell for it, this is why they even, I listened to the guy and I'm like, I don't know if he meant to say it or not. That Cohen guy. I'm sitting there like, I watched the video, they put it on RT. The man tells you, when he's going off on the Mayor de Blasio guy, there's not going to be singing and dancing next year because the city's going to be tearing itself apart. Why do you think they're telling you that? It's over. Cinderella turns into the pumpkin, whatever, the coachman or whatever. The Hollywood is over. That's why Hollywood's going goodbye. Okay? That's why the Most High is like, I'm done with this. Idol's about to fall. But you who want, they're gonna try one more trick to pull you back to that joker with what they have taught you in the various religious beliefs that that guy you worship will come back. Here's how stupid this is. They told you and they told you someone was coming back in every religion. And that is who's going to be sitting there, who you see. With the voodoo around him, you will see who you're supposed to see sitting there. But he will be represented as the entity of what you call Jesus Christ. Okay? Because the real Messiah, the real Jesus Christ, is not coming back here for no rapture. He's coming back here to do business with the army that he will use, that he is already raptured to, who are already represented by him, who is with him, who will see him through us, the salvations of the Yaoundé. So now we're coming with the salvation for those of us who recognize it. This is the invite to the banquet. The Bantu speaking to you, the Bakongo is saying, when you believe what I'm telling you, this is the key to the Father. You cannot go through someone who was never under the covenant. They have to come back and reteach us so they could be saved. That was their job. But the devil and his people ran interference. No, you're going to replace them. No, it don't work like that. That is why when Toko came and said, you worship Nimrod, he knows the truth. He started telling all this stuff to them, doing this, doing that. What? Who is this guy? We can't even kill him. Ooh, they can't even kill him. Excuse me. Many of us have a similar spirit today. They want to get rid of you, but they can't finish you off. But we must remember, this is not our kingdom. Just like Kuswa said, this is not our kingdom. Our kingdom is Congo. We come from the Pemba Kalunga. We come from the nZambis. We come from the Bena Congo. So therefore, only Tata nZambi Umpungu Tulende will decide when you get killed and when you come up. Period. End of the story. This is the reason why they don't want you to know your power, because now your power will work for you. Now your power will lead you and guide you in the ways that you should go. The Abantu Benduela, people of the way of Tata nZambi Umpungu Tulendo. Yahweh, Yeswe, Congo. Hallelujah. All right, family. Nuvuvamu. I know I went a little longer than I wanted to, but the reality is now comes their judgments. And if we don't want to be a part of that, you must refuse to continue to go along with the harlot. Because those who did not even see this coming, and they ain't see none of this coming. It will be like a thief. Like it says, you snooze, you lose. You snooze on your opportunity to come out to the real truth, and you want to keep believing some charlatans that are actually putting on a show like Simone the Sorcerer Spirit was doing, all about a show, all about fairy tales, all about made up stories to make themselves look like they're the people. Go back, be my guest. But the point is, like Hussein Koma said, we shaking the sandals now, people. It's time to say that you don't want to take it, oh well, on to the next one. We can't waste time on people that want to stay with the blinders on, like the horse. When they put the blinders on the horse and you got to go one direction, keep going that way. Because your pastor cannot be the only one with the knowledge when you have the Holy Spirit, period. He should also be learning from you. Because the wonder does not, no one has all the full truth. No one has all the true knowledge. There's no way one man standing in front of you can teach you the full truth ever. Because it's not possible. Because the Most High doesn't work like that. That's why Paula was said, you prophesy, you this, okay? Because the Most High uses different interpretations to different people of what you need to know. Oh, we got to know, okay, this, okay. And you put it together and you get the message. Okay. Ingeta, lovuvumo yala, inaweza yave Congo kutwala. Ingeta.